STL TV Live, and I'm joined by Dr. Paul Wise from the Undy Run walk. There's actually more to you. You're a big doctor, but you're a doctor. We're going to talk a lot about colon cancer in this segment, in our next segment, but we want to talk about this Undy Run walk, which is really made to raise awareness about colon cancer. Is that correct?
Yes, but doing kind of a humorous way, since obviously most runs are not focused on having people run in their underwear, so yeah.
So that's the premise for it, is that correct?
Great.
Okay, so you run in your underwear, and this actually already took place, is that correct?
Correct, yeah. So it just happened on Saturday, so it's kind of the culmination of Colon Cancer Awareness Month, since March is Colon Cancer Awareness Month, today being the last day of that. But basically, as a culmination of that, they had people get together and try to raise awareness, and it involves both survivors or people who have colon cancer or had colorectal cancer, as well as their families, friends, and other folks like us in the medical community who want to try to raise awareness and hopefully get rid of colorectal cancer.
Okay, well, let's take a look at some of those photos that we have them up on the screen. So first we've got, is that a giant cardboard colon?
No, actually it's an inflatable colon.
Oh,
so Simon Cancer Center's got an inflatable colon. You know, you can actually walk through a colon, as delightful as that sounds. And then that's our group. You can actually see the colon in the background, but that was our group with me kneeling in front and wearing a delightful tutu, which my office mates put me up to. They agreed to run, as well as some of the surgical residents and other folks from Washington University and Simon Cancer Center there. So we had a group of about 60 members total, and I think we raised around the 10th or 11th most in terms of funds for the group.
And so this goes for the Colon Cancer Alliance.
Correct. And
so you talked about with the photo, you can actually walk through a colon. I mean, do you feel like most people, I feel like I hear more and more about colon cancer and thus the large intestine, but there's so much I don't know when people talk about cancer with it. Why don't you maybe break it down for us about where we're at currently with research and stats and prevention? Yeah,
I mean, the good news is people are talking about it more. Obviously, this is not something that people usually like to talk about. Their intestinal tract is not something, although it obviously affects us every day, day in and day out, it's not something that people talk a lot about. The good news about colorectal cancer is actually the incidence of it is decreasing over the last 2 to 3 decades. That's not the case for younger patients, those under age 50, but over age 50, because of all the screening and prevention programs that are out there who have focused on that age group, we're seeing a decrease in that. But that's getting people to get their colonoscopies, see their doctors, talk about it, talk to their family members, and pay attention to symptoms that can be related to colorectal cancer. So we're really seeing a decrease in it, but still only about 50 to 75% of people across the country are actually getting screened, meaning there's a lot of folks, 25 to 50% of folks aren't getting screened who should. And our goal is, and the Colon Cancer Alliance's goal is to try to get everyone who should be screened to get screened and hopefully eliminate colorectal cancer altogether.
So when should you get screened? Because to your point, I mean, I'm trying to think the last time even my doctor, you know, with your GP asked about it, but when should you? I mean, is there a target? Is there a base of people who are more, we mentioned off camera about people who have hereditary, you know, there might be some hereditary genes or symptoms that increase, you know, that I'm getting tongue-tied, but make this happen.
Right.
But in case, who should be getting screened?
So that's a complex question. The simple answer to that is anyone age 50 or older should have been screened at some point. So by the time you turn 50, that magical birthday, you should be getting screened. The reason why it's a little bit more complex is because sometimes it runs in folks' families. So I have an interest in hereditary colorectal cancer, and families that have those kind of syndromes are at increased risk. So they should get screened earlier, sometimes starting in their teens and even 20s.
I see.
And then there are some folks who maybe they just have one relative with colorectal cancer, or they have a particular condition that puts them at increased risk for colorectal cancer. Those folks should get screened earlier. So if you're just kind of an average person with no family history of colorectal cancer or polyps, for that matter, then probably starting at age 50 is reasonable. But everyone should consult their primary care provider, whether it's a nurse practitioner or a physician assistant or a physician, and ask them what's right for them. And then certainly those people who have symptoms, so if they're having bleeding or changes in bowel habits or unusual abdominal pain or unexpected weight loss, definitely should get assessed.
Well, we're going to continue this conversation. We're going to take a quick break, but when we're going to have more with Dr. Paul Wise from the Undy Run Walk, and he's also from the Colon Cancer Alliance. So we're going to have more right after this break. Thank you.
raised.
Okay.
And that those funds go back